Hello and welcome to the Tongue of the Trees channel. I'm Elizabeth Ashley, the Secret Healer, and this video is what is lime essential oil good for? Could I be more Wolverhampton? Lime. What is lime essential oil good for? So this is an interesting video for me because, well, on lots of levels really. The first thing is, this is not an essential oil that I use very often. And if ever there was a day where I could have done with it, it's today, because everything is convoluted today. I'm trying to do my videos. I've got a couple of tenders out for new sets of business, and I'm having the kitchen redone, and amongst all of that I also have my son self-isolating because they had a COVID breakout at school. And he's only just started at senior school and he's trying to do all his learning online. I need to be in 100 places. That is exhausting. And this is exactly the kind of medicine that lime is good for. However, lime is not an essential oil that I use very often. And strictly speaking, it's not an essential oil. I should say that, because essential oils are distilled. And the citrus oils are not distilled, are they? They're pressed from the rind of the plant, from the peel, the exocarp. And so they use Aquella PK, which is it's like a tool which has millions and millions of tiny pinpricks, and they break all of the cells of the imagine lime peel or orange peel. To break all of the cells, then push it down, and all of the oil comes out. And of course the byproduct of that is quite a lot of water in it, so they spun in a centrifuge to separate off the oil. So because I don't use it very often, it goes off very quickly. So I do have some lime oil, but all of the monoterpenes have gone, all of the aldehydes have gone, all of the freshness, all of the radiance, all of the magic. So no use to me whatsoever. So that's the first interesting thing I should say to you. These oils that are done by expression or compression with the Aquella PK, they are subject to phototoxicity, because they carry with them a little bit of a lipid that can react to the sun. So we'll talk more about that in the next video, in the safety video, which, if you have a look at the link underneath, video 2 looks at the safety. It looks at how to blend lime essential oil, and it looks at the emotional, the mental and the spiritual aspects of the essential oil, which to my mind is the more important stuff of this essential oil. Some are, you know, like tea tree, for example, is all physical. You know, there is some emotional stuff, but it's all physical. Eucalyptus, all physical. But quite often with the for the citruses, for the most part, they work on the emotions more than the spiritual side, than the physical side. But what's interesting is, as I say, it's not an oil I use very often, but when I trained, one of my greatest mentors was my stepfather, who was the most tremendous clinical aromatherapist, and he was also the chairman of the British Society of Dowsers, because he was an amazing medical dowser using essential oils, and he would never be without lime essential oil, because he found it so useful. So we will talk about how we use that on the physical level as well. But first of all, I just want to introduce you a little bit to the Tongue of the Trees cards. The name of the channel is the Tongue of the Trees, so we have to do its work, because these are what pays for the channel. These are some cards that were designed by my colleague Gerglay Halodi and myself. Gerglay's beautiful work on the design, and we can see that the keyword, sorry it's back to front, is unravel. Remember how I said it was about untangling complex situations? That's what I could have done with it today. So those come with a little poem inside, and lots of data about the energetics, which, as I say, we will look at in the second video. Apologies for the state of my nails in amongst all the complex day. Forgot to sort them out, sorry. But I want to lead you to this. If you haven't already, please do go to Amazon and download your free copy of the complete guide of clinical aromatherapy and the essential oils of the physical body. Amazon, Apple, all of the big ebook providers have that. Barnes and Noble, Kobe, all up there. But I've got to tell you that for Lyme, it's a bit of a failure. You know, we cover 100 oils, so it's not a failure on all, but for Lyme it is. But let me tell you what I've written in the book. It says, historical successes of this essential oil have included perfect for refreshing a tired mind. Is that physical? Is that mental? Hard to know, isn't it? But we'll talk more in the next bit about that in the second video. It cleanses the hair to give vibrant, lustrous looks. Definitely physical, definitely. We'll talk about that again in a minute. Excuse me. It's restorative and invigorating, and that's it. That's all you get in there. But if you have got the paperback, and if you do go and buy the paperback, you'll notice that there is enormous amounts of space between the words, and I did that deliberately because I want you to build on the information that's given to you. So from this video, you should be able to write more notes into here so that you can grow your own library in front of you. So that's that. Do go and get your book. So let's talk about cleansing the hair first, because I know I have one particular viewer called Chris who will go, oh yes, hair. She gets very excited about hair. And I always talk about your healing click of oils, you know, the ones that you go to over and over again. So on every possible one, I can usually say, but I would use this. So for hair, I would use chamomile, or I would use rosemary, or I would use spikenard if somebody had got a really bad problem and they got alopecia. But if you've got good, strong hair that just needs a bit of zhuzh, then a drop of lime in the last rinse of your hair is beautiful. So what you could do, you could put one drop into your shampoo, so you've got a big bottle and it's used over and over again. You could use a drop in your conditioner. Again, you can use it over and over again. You could use it in a massage oil to massage into your head if you're doing like Indian head massage, or just generally trying to get rid of headaches and refresh you as you're working it into the pores. Of course, that goes down to the hair. Obviously, by the time it comes out, well, by the time it gets to me and gets to the bottle, it's really dead, but any hair is dead. But we're going to revitalize the pores by doing and the hair follicles by doing that kind of massage. So again, we're invigorating the blood supply, and that helps to replenish the supply of the hair and that kind of thing. Lovely healthy stuff. You could also, which is nice, make a hair mask. So have you tried using maybe some seaweed or some kaolin or some clay and mixing in with some carrier oil and a drop of essential oil? So I would use, you can use some lime, perhaps some patchouli, and then on your hair, or filling in all the lovely protein into the hair. It's beautiful, beautiful. Obviously no protein in essential oils, just like there's no vitamins in essential oils, but beautiful to have it with all the rest of the nourishment from the carrier oils and from the clays. So that's just one way to do it. Another interesting way is, I always think it's a bit of a joke in the house when I make salad dressing. People go, oh, salad dressing, you put it on your hair. But if you put it with some vinegar and you put it with some oil, then you have this lustrous, beautiful, thick to be able to go. And you know, the vinegar is so astringent, it will take off any sort of residues that are left behind. Does it, if you, for example, if you dye your hair a lot, and I don't know anybody that does that, but I hear that if you do, and you use some really nourishing, heavy protein shampoos, and conditioners in particular, what happens is the conditioner leaves a residue on the hair, and it makes it not so easy for the dye to take next time. So a great thing to do is to use one of these salad dressings with the olive oil or whatever carrier oil you want to use, and with some vinegar, any kind of vinegar. I use cider vinegar just to annoy everybody because it stinks the place out. And then some essential oils. So as I say, I would not use lime because it's not one of my clique, but you could use lime. I would use rosemary or chamomile, just to leave on the hair and to strip everything off before. And then tomorrow night I will dye my hair with no stuff on it, no residue. So there we go. That's a great way to use lime. It's extremely astringent, so you could use it for if you've got greasy skin, or if you are prone to greasiness when you're due on, you know, and you get this kind of, and it's just too much, you know. So that's a great way to use lime, to just put some in your cleanser, or a little bit with your toner. Beautiful. Incidentally, if you are interested in learning more about these recipes, I have to say there's not any hair ones in the recipe hub this month, but if you sign up to the recipe hub, the Tongue of the Trees recipe hub is a monthly subscription where we give you 10 recipes per oil every week. So they build and build to a database. So at the moment, I think we're looking at about 320 videos of how to use different essential oils, complete with all of the safety, all of the blending, that kind of thing. So if you think, well, I've got this bottle of lime oil and I don't know what to do with it, the recipe hub is going to be your saviour. So have a look. If you go to video 2, and then when you go to my website, there's loads and loads of links, particularly to the recipe hub, so you can sign up for there. Another great thing is how digestive it is. So, again, it wouldn't be an oil I would use. It gets a bit tedious, doesn't it, keep saying it, but it's immediate. It's my immediate thing to say, because I just wouldn't. But let's think, digestion, I would probably mix it with something like cardamom, or cloves would be beautiful. You know, that lovely spices and citrus blend is just lovely. But if you think about, this is a hard video to do, because really, as I say, the main stuff is the mental stuff. So let's jump forward a bit and say, right, okay, so it's restorative, it's for stress, it's quite antidepressant. So if you're somebody who has nervous problems with digestion, then it's a great oil to consider, because what we're doing is we're looking at the problem from the root up, aren't we? I'm getting nervous. In fact, there's a good example. I suffer from acid reflux, and I'd said to my husband this morning, I'm not looking forward today. I've got to wear too many hats. And that's true. I have got to wear too many hats. I've got to be mum, I've got to be teacher, I've got to be cook, I've got to be cleaner, I've got to do my work. Notice our work's at the bottom of the list. And it's just a lot, you know. So lo and behold, I had my breakfast. I wrote all my list of what I've got to do. Well, washing, make the lunch, everything ahead of time. And I went in the shower and I'd had my breakfast. And I did this enormous burp from the my tea, cup of tea, full of acid. And I was like, well, you see, you've done this to yourself. You've done this yourself. You've got yourself wound up. So I know I've got to calm down now, and then I'll have to look at eating very simple food for a couple of days, because I've let the stress build up. So therefore the acids come up, and then the valves got loose. So we could look at it from many different ways. We could say, right, okay, well, in actual fact, you could use peppermint. Actually, do not use peppermint. Peppermint makes acid reflux worse because it loosens the valve. But you could use chamomile. or cardamom or any kind of those digestive oils, or you could go, right, sort your head out, because as you sort your head out, everything else falls into line, and lime is beautiful for that. Let me just see if I can find the poem that goes with lime. It's a red card because it's fruits. So it says, remember playing remember playing cat's cradle as a child. You'd weave the strings around your fingers and it would become more and more complicated until you were sure the string would become knotted. And sometimes situations seem so convoluted and complex that you can see no way out, but perhaps you're too close to see. Let me lift your mind to look for different angles, see the elegance of the conundrum and the beauty of the structure it's created. And as you stop to admire, I'll make a lime-shaped gap in your mind. I'll calm those racing thoughts until a more optimistic standpoint shows itself. Zingy, bright and positive, my aroma whispers, look again. There might be something rather unexpected here. So when you're frazzled, you know, and you can see how then that would play out in the digestion, but it also could play out just as much as a headache, as eczema, anything of those things. Now, mark my words, that you would not use lime for eczema. You wouldn't want to put it on the skin, it's too abrasive, but that inhaling, that restorative, that calming, that just going, okay, that goes there, that goes there, that goes there, that can wait till tomorrow. Everything calms down. And suddenly, your skin is getting better. So do we say that it's for eczema, or do we not say it's for eczema? Well, I would say not for eczema, but I would say the emotional part that is throwing up the problem. Yeah, it's a great way to use it. More on the physical, really. Antiviral, antiseptic, of course. If you think about what's in the kitchen, all of the cleaners are lemons, limes, oranges, aren't they? You know, they cut through the grease. They have that antiseptic, that disinfectant property. Absolutely beautiful. Now, I talked about Michael earlier, and one of the things that he particularly found lime good for is moulds and yeasts and funguses or fungi. Fungodes, fungipus. We can go on forever, can't we? Funguses, I'm going to go. But so things like athlete's foot, Candida albicans, that's a really interesting one. That really responds to essential oils better than it does to anything the doctor will give you. And I can tell you that in the recipe hub specifically, there is a recipe for Candida. But of course, relaxing. Do we say relaxing is the emotional? Do we say it's mental? Do we say it's spiritual? Or is it physical? It's very difficult, isn't it? It's very, very difficult. So at that point, I think it's good for us to leave here and to say, thank you for being with me. Get your cards. The link for any of the things that you want to see, if you go to video 2, on my website, you'll find all of the things. How can I get the cards? How can I get the book? How can I get Recipe Hub? All of those things. But in video 2, we are going to talk about the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the safety, because with citruses, there's a lot of safety to consider. And also, we are going to join with my colleague Gegle Halodi in Budapest, and he will show us how to blend lime essential oil. So I want to say thank you for joining me, and hopefully I will see you in what is lime essential oil good for the mental, emotional and spiritual aspects, safety and blending. See you soon.
you get your phone, you turn it this way up, and then there's a little red subscribe button. Turn it grey by clicking it, and then there's a little bell. Click that and press all at the bottom of your phone or tablet or computer. It will say you will receive all notifications, and then there's a little hand with a thumbs up. Click that, it'll turn it blue and it says added to your liked videos, and there will be comments, and if you want to, you can send a comment and say like hi's to Mum and Dad, like, and then the link to the next video will be in the description below underneath the video. So bye.